The end of World War II was a huge relief for the citizens of the Soviet Union. After World War II, the Soviet Union emerged victorious from the war, but this achievement came at a high cost. About 20 million Soviet soldiers and civilians died in the war, the heaviest loss of life in the history. The consequences of the war changed the map of the Europe, especially its eastern part. The main events of the post-war period of domestic policy can be divided into several categories: post-war Stalinism, famine in 1946-1947, and Reconstruction. Post-war Stalinism, instead of weakening the totalitarian regime, strengthened it. A new round of repression has come. About 2 million people were sent to the Gulag. Most of them were ex-prisoners of war. In the following years, famine begins in the Soviet Union. The reason for this is the collapse of agriculture, which in turn occurred due to the lack of workers, equipment and horses, and also due to the destruction of many villages. At the same time, measures were taken to return industrial enterprises to peaceful schedules. The length of the working day was reduced, and the number of days at weekend increased. Even though the Soviet Union was victorious in World War II, its economy had been devastated in the struggle. To help rebuild the country, the Soviet government obtained limited credits from Britain and Sweden, but refused assistance proposed by the United States under the economic aid program known as the Marshall Plan. The main event of the post-war period of foreign policy is the Cold War. Eastern Bloc in Europe, Berlin Wall, Second Indochina War, Korean War, Laotian Civil War, Afghanistan War, guerrilla warfare in Cuba, Uruguay, Argentina, Peru, all of these were the consequences of the Cold War. The Cold War was the cause of world tension. The arms race began, which eventually became one of the reasons for the collapse of the Soviet Union. A lot of money from the country's budget was spent on building nuclear weapons. Since then, the doomsday clock has started to go. The war took many lifts, but it also took the old world. A new era began, an era of nuclear war that ended the active war between the superpowers and turned it into an ideological war.